just wanted to try and make that look really, really cool. You can probably tell that this is my first YouTube video. Like I pretend I didn't set the camera up. Are we rolling? Yep. Fingers crossed that these mics are working as well. Let's get a better angle on this. Right, so if there's no fancy editing skills except from the bit when I pulled up at the truck at the start, then I apologise. I will try to get better. But the goal of me creating this YouTube video, first and foremost, is not to have any massively fancy editing skills at all. It's I thought that was someone I knew then. it's more or less just to share where I'm at right now, because I feel as though it's going to be massively relatable to a lot of fellas out there. So this video here is just going to be me speaking from a place of pure honesty. The story that I'm about to tell you all will keep you here. Let's get into it. But I suppose the main reason of why I wanted to start this YouTube video is because, let me just do this window up. It's a 1997 truck, it makes that noise. I'm a dad that runs his own business, that cares about his family, that cares about his health, and I've created this channel because I want to help other men get into the best shape of their life, physically, mentally. I want them to be performing at the best. I want them to spend as much present time as possible with their family. I want them to make as much money as they possibly can. You'll hear this all the time, like a lot of people will say that, you know, getting into the best shape of my life was the best thing that I ever did, because it easily bled into family, it easily bled into business, and all aspects of my life just got a hell of a lot better. If you have got better energy, you're showing up better at home. If you've got better energy, you're showing up better in your business. You can make better decisions. But there's also a lot of noise out there. We live in an age right now where there is a hell of a lot of information. There is information overload at the minute. But information isn't the problem. Implementation of the right things is. So I want to just create this channel because, like I said, I'm a dad that juggles his health, that juggles business, that juggles family. And I want to let you guys know that getting into really good shape is actually a hell of a lot easier than what we make it out to be sometimes. I've got a little bit of a story that I want to let you guys into, because I think it's going to be so, well, I don't think, I know it's going to be so relatable for a lot of fellas out there. So before I get into the current position of where I currently am, let me just rewind a little bit and tell you about my story and why I've ended up in the position that I am in today. It is getting warm in this truck, so this fleece is coming off. I want to just start realistically at the start of my journey, when things really started to change for me. Now, I have always been into sports. I played football from a young age, and then when I got to around, I think it was 15, started going to the gym, and like any teenage boy, all I wanted to do was to have pretty big arms, and I still haven't achieved that. I mean, they're all right, but yeah, I wanted to go into the gym, and I wanted to get big arms. That's literally all I wanted to do. So we'd go in with my mate, we wouldn't have a clue what we were doing, we were just like lifting weights, and it felt good. We got a little bit of a pump on it. That was great. We made no real progress. We were young, we just enjoyed lifting some weights, watching some motivational videos, and the gym was never really a super consistent thing then. Maybe training, I don't know, 2 to 3 times a week. I couldn't even probably put a finger on how many times we trained. A couple of years down the line, and this is when you're in that place of being around 17, 18 and going out more. And I used to go out heavily. I wasn't at university myself, but my friends were. We used to go out to Leeds on nights out, and when I say these were nights out, boy were they nights out. There was drink involved. There was drugs involved as well. Part of me wants to be like, yeah, you don't need to say that, but at the same time, pure honesty, there was. Yeah, there was a hell of a lot of partying that was going on. And I remember one night being stood in the middle of this club in Leeds, Mint Club it was, and my feet were absolutely killing me, like really, really hurting me. This pain in my feet went on. A couple of weeks down the line, like I was feeling it everywhere. I was feeling it in my knees, I was feeling it in my fingers. But get this right, I was still going out, I was still drinking, I was still being around drugs, I was still making poor food choices. What's the easy thing to go to at the end of the night? It's a McDonald's. At this time in my life, I was 18, I was working in a leisure centre as a lifeguard, and I was going out a hell of a lot. And the pain, I'd been diagnosed with arthritis. So they'd said, Jordan, you've got reactive arthritis, it's called. So my body's having a reaction to something. It's showing a lot of inflammation. So they started trialing me on loads of like different medications. But anyway, where I was with this is I was working in a leisure centre. I transitioned from being a lifeguard into a fitness instructor. I found the love of training a little bit more. I found the love of going to the gym a little bit more consistently then. And then I thought, do you know what? Like, I actually love helping other people feel good as well. So I was like, do you know what, maybe I should take this a little bit more seriously. And I started to do my personal training qualifications, and this is years back, like a long time ago. And as I started to do my personal training course, I started to get a little bit more serious about my own health and understanding what felt better for me. Going out drinking, partying, you know, being around drugs, eating processed foods, being in pain all the time, because all of that stuff does not help arthritis whatsoever. Fast forward a year or so, I met Becky, my fiance, the love of my life, the mother to my child. And from meeting her, I knew that I had to really sort my act out a little bit. I wanted to be this guy that was clearly prioritizing his health, that was in good shape as well, right? Because I wanted to take my top off and feel absolutely mint around her. I didn't want to be the guy that was like not having the energy to go and spend time with her. I even remember I didn't actually tell her that I had arthritis until I was 21. I remember on my 21st birthday, my mum said to me, how are your joints? And Becky was sat in the room, in the living room. She was like, what do you mean, how are your joints? And then my mum said that I had arthritis. I was like, oh, fucking mint, thanks mum. But obviously that was in like an early stage of a relationship. I just wanted to be this like healthy, strong guy. From there, everything flourished just a little bit more. The nights out stopped being consistent nights out. The gym started to pick up. I started to be more consistent. Business was going great as well. I had plenty of personal training clients. And even with the personal training clients that I had, I couldn't be that guy that was going like, do you know what we need to do? We need to get consistent with your gym sessions. We need to clean up your food. If I wasn't doing that myself. Imagine if I was the guy that was inconsistent with training, inconsistent with eating food. I'm not in the position to tell you what to do if I'm not implementing this sort of stuff myself. From there, we decided to go traveling. So we went to Thailand. We did a month in Thailand, which was, looking back, it was absolutely amazing. Hear me out with this. I could only take 3 months worth of arthritis medication with me because I have to have blood tests. I take one medication once a week called methotrexate, and then I take another medication once a month which is called Simponi or Golimumab, I think it's called. That's a fancy word for it. And the doctors would only let me take 3 months supply of that, and I had to carry it around in cool boxes around Thailand. And I remember having to go into the 7-Elevens and get like ice pops to put in this cool box so it would keep my medication cool, because it has to be stored at a certain temperature. But anyway, Thailand was mint. We travelled from Thailand over to Australia, and Australia was great as well. We lived in Sydney for a little bit, we lived in Brisbane for a little bit, but our main place was Sydney. I met some absolutely amazing people there, but obviously time passed, my medication ran out, and we were coming up to, I reckon it was about like 9 months, and for the first maybe 6 months we were working solidly. I haven't got them numbers bang on right, but it was maybe around 6 months that we were working solidly, and I was just labouring out there. I wasn't personal training because I knew that we weren't going to be there long term, so I just pretty much got a labouring job, funnily enough, with one of the men that I coach now. But anyway, my medication ran out. I was feeling good, I was feeling all right. I mean, my joints weren't aching really that much. Everything was looking all right, and we decided to go really traveling now. And about 2 weeks into our little camper van trip, my knee started to flare up, and when I say I was ill, boy, I have never been as ill in my life. You'll never know, and I'll never be able to get the context of how ill I was across to you because you weren't there. You didn't see it. Only I saw that, and only Becky saw a bit of it. But even she couldn't feel what I was feeling. When I say I was ill, I was really, really ill. I couldn't walk. I remember buying these knee straps for the gym, and I literally had to wrap that around my knee to feel as though it's got some sort of movement in it so it can provide some sort of support. Oh man, Rainbow Beach was it? Which I'm not quite sure which part of Australia that is, but it's a beautiful place. There's not much around. A long story short, I remember ringing my brother and I was like, don't tell mum, because I didn't want to worry her and I was on the other side of the world. There's nothing that she could really do about it. Don't tell mum I'm ill, but I genuinely feel like I could possibly die. Without sounding too dramatic, that's how I felt. Anyway, we decided to drive to Brisbane Hospital, and I went in and they saw me and they got me in straight away. They thought my knee had gone septic. What they had started to do, they drained my knee, which was again the most painful experience of my life. They literally shoved a needle in my knee that was like that long and just started pulling all this stuff out of it. I'll put a picture up on screen. They did a couple of tests with that fluid and they basically said, it's good news, you haven't got sepsis, but this is very angry looking synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is basically fluid that surrounds a joint and it keeps it lubricated, it keeps it nice to move. Yeah, so they came back and said, we've drained your knee, we need to do an operation on it. And I was like, oh, not ideal, but okay, like this clearly needs to be done. So they did an operation on it, and then after the operation, they kept doing blood tests on me and I discharged myself. I was like, I'm fine now, I'm good, I'm absolutely fine. I just need to get home. Like, I know what I need. I haven't had my medication, I need my medication. I discharged myself and that night I was cold sweats, being sick, like it wasn't ideal at all. Went back into hospital and they did the exact same procedure again. They drained my knee, they operated on it. And as I was laid in a hospital bed, I didn't really have the realization that my health is everything, but I sort of realized that this is pretty serious, and I ended up losing a lot of muscle. And I actually didn't touch on this part. Before we went to Thailand and Australia, I got very heavily into bodybuilding. So I was training like 6 days a week and I was training hard, like I was working hard. Looking back, felt like I had more of a purpose than going out and getting drunk and being around drugs. So I was heavily invested into growing muscle and whatnot. Anyway, then obviously we went to Thailand traveling, went to Australia, ended up in hospital, ended up having operations, ended up losing a shit ton of muscle as well. And the doctors kept doing blood tests on me and they said, as soon as your bloods come back into range, I think my white blood cell count was like way high, and they were like, you've got an infection at the minute, and we can't let you go until these readings come down. And I remember being on some really strong painkillers and anti-inflammatories and everything else. Anyway, came home and I was done. I was on crutches. I'd lost a shit ton of muscle. We'd obviously just ended a brilliant trip just like that. A trip that we'd saved a load of money for. A trip that we'd worked really, really hard for as well. But I knew I had one choice to make, really. And the choice was, let this condition rule your life like it already hasn't ruled your life. Or really start prioritizing your health. Rebuild yourself. And there's a lot of purpose in that rebuild right there. And I think actually a lot of men will be able to relate to that. You might be out of shape. You might feel like it's too late. But again, you've got the option. You either start from scratch and rebuild yourself, or you don't. I could have easily been the guy that said, arthritis, I can't do this because I've got arthritis. I can't lift these weights, I can't get strong, I can't have the energy that I want. The doctors said to me that the medication that I'm on, you will put on weight with this medication, because it'll make you feel more tired, it'll make you feel more fatigued. And what happens if you're tired and fatigued? You stop moving more. And if you stop moving more, you probably start eating a lot of shit as well. You just go for the easy options, and that's where people will put on weight. But for me, I didn't want that. I didn't want to be the guy that wasn't in shape, that just got dealt this card of having arthritis and being in that position of Yeah, you can't control this, Jordan, because this is your card that you've been dealt. I didn't want that. It had already taken something away from me, being in Australia and ending my trip short, and I didn't want that anymore. So I surrounded myself with people that I knew that I had to surround myself with. I joined a gym back home in Huddersfield, in Honley, if anyone knows. It's called the Unit Fitness. I was surrounded by people that I aspired to be. And as I was editing this video, a massive part of it cut out. So here I am. I've started to rebuild my life. I've started to rehabilitate my knee, and I've surrounded myself with people in a gym environment that push me to become the better version of myself. I surrounded myself with those people. And then I actually started to personal train from the Unit Fitness. I worked with some absolutely amazing people. I built a very, very good business. I got some fantastic transformations. And then COVID hit, and didn't it put every single one of us on our ass? And for me, I continued to train throughout COVID, but obviously it massively impacted my business because I wasn't able to train people from a gym. And then fast forward, COVID was finally out of the way and things were moving in the right direction again. I was stronger. My knee was in a better place. The business was being rebuilt. And through building a business, helping people transform their bodies, I soon realized that there was so much more to helping people than just an hour spent personal training in the gym. I can put anyone through a hard session for an hour. I can get them leaving the gym as feeling as though they've exerted themselves. But that's not what gets people the result, physically, mentally, emotionally. So me and Becky, who was also working at the gym, we decided to leave the one-to-one sessions and to create a business together where we helped men and women get into the best shape of their lives. Men and women that were already turning up to the gym, but didn't have the clarity, didn't have the accountability, didn't have the support, didn't have the plan that they actually needed to actually achieve the life-changing results they actually wanted to achieve. So we left the gym and built a business together called Best Jet Bodies. Cut back to the original video. Business was great. We started to make some moves, moved to Manchester for a little bit. And while we were in the process of building Best Jet Bodies, we had a baby. Our beautiful daughter, who is my absolute world. That was just everything that, in a selfish way, that I also needed as well. I have always wanted to be a dad, and this little girl of mine is the most special little piece of joy that has ever happened to me. I struggle to find the words. I'm guessing guys that are out there that have got kids, maybe that have got daughters, will also be able to relate to that. There is no better feeling. There is no love like it. But before we had Nalani, I was in a position where I could have potentially been in better shape. A lot of focus had been put on the business, and I needed to book my ideas up. I knew that when Nalani was here, I knew that I would have to support Becky. I knew what kind of dad that I wanted to be as well. And I thought, right, you've got a little bit of time to make this happen here. When she gets here, chances are training's not going to be perfect. You ain't going to be training 6 days a week, Jord. You haven't got that sort of time. You've also got a business to run as well. You will have Becky to support. You want to be a present dad. So do what you fucking can now. I went into this process of being like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get into the best shape of my life. And let me tell you, the wins weren't how I looked. It wasn't really how I felt. It bled into how I showed up as a father. That was the most important thing for me. I didn't get into good shape for me. I got into good shape so I could support Becky the way that I needed to support her through birth. I got into good shape so I could show up as the dad that I wanted to be. That was what was important with me. And the physique side and feeling good just came with it. It just came part and parcel of it. I got into really, really good shape. Business was great. I was in the best shape of my life. I had a daughter, I am totally blessed. Becky's healthy. We managed to rent the house out. We moved to Manchester, experienced the city life, held some great events in Manchester with Best Jet Bodies, met some amazing people, did some absolutely epic things. And then we were like, right, let's sell the house back in Meltham, let's move out and let's buy a new house. And we've been in there since January 2019. and 25. Which brings me up to the current date. Me and Becky decided to go our different ways, not in our relationship, but in business. Becky wanted to turn Best Jet Bodies into just a female coaching program. I wanted to branch off and just work with males and males only. I had a good mate, as you'll all know. He's called Nathan. You'll see him on my Instagram and all my socials and everything. Nathan's always been a good mate of mine. He's always been in the picture. We've known each other from a very, very young age. Now he's essentially doing the same thing. He's helping men get into the best shape of their life. So me and Nate have decided to team up, and we've created a business called Build the Man. And the three things that are really important to us are family, our business, and our health. Now me and Nate have been working heavily in Build the Man. This is the bit that I think a hell of a lot of guys will be able to relate to. So I'm a dad, right? I'm juggling being the best dad that I can be. I've just started a new business with my friend. What a position to be in. But a hell of a lot of effort has been going into those two things. Being able to be a present dad and being able to serve some pretty awesome men. Problem that I'm facing is I've left myself out a little bit. Now when I say I've left myself out, it's not that I haven't trained. I've been training. I've been training 3 days a week as a minimum. I have been making good conscious decisions with my food, but I've not been saying no to going out to eat or really being in control. And to the average man, you'll have a look at my progress pictures right now that I'm going to put up on screen. This is how I'm looking. Here's the front shot. Here's the side shot, I believe I went into, and then here's the back shot as well. To the average man, I'm looking pretty good. And you're going, well, Jordan, what's wrong with you, man? You know, you've got the family that you've wanted. You're able to build a business with one of your good mates, and you're still going to the gym 3 days a week. And you might be listening to this now going, I haven't been to the gym in a while. So, fuck, what are my standards? Don't compare yourself to me. I'm comparing myself to where I have been before. And some might say that that's not a great thing to do because you should focus on going forward. But I know right now that my standards could be a lot higher when it comes down to my intensity of training in the gym, when it comes down to how I want to look and how I want to feel. And this is the position where I believe a hell of a lot of guys tend to be. They're in that grey area where they're not in enough pain to be like, yeah, do you know what, something fucking drastically needs to change here, but they're not also in that position where I go, yeah, do you know what, I'm fully jacked here. Here's a picture up that I'm going to put on screen where I've been before. Here it is. Now, I want to let you men into something right there. That physique that I gained, I was training no more than 4 days a week because I was juggling having a business and being a present dad. My nutrition was great. I had a structure, I had base meals. I was also going out to eat. I wasn't being the monk that went, no, just give me chicken, rice and broccoli. I actually don't mind chicken, rice and broccoli. But I wasn't being that guy that was like, no, I can't eat. We all know this, and this is a place where a lot of guys will be falling into right now. If you have set yourself no real target to reach, what happens is, yeah, do you know what? I don't need to be setting myself a bedtime. I mean, I've let my standards slip a little bit. I used to go to bed at like 10 o'clock, but now I'm finding myself going to bed at 11, half 11. And then that can easily slip into the next night of, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like, I look at the clock and I'm like, all right, it's 10 o'clock at night. I should probably go to bed right now because I know that I feel good if I go to bed at 10 and wake up at 6. That's a decent night's sleep for me. And I'm able to get up, do the work that I need to do. I'm able to have the energy that I need to have. I'm able to train. I'm able to be a present dad. But do you know what? Like, it's cool. We'll go to bed at like half 11. And that standard begins to drop. But not only that, that standard bleeds into other standards that you hold for yourself. Could you be training a little bit harder at the gym, Jordan? Absolutely, I could. Could you be more consistent with your food? Absolutely, I could. Could you be in better shape? 100%. Most importantly, the shape that you are wanting to get into, can you maintain this long term? Absolutely, because I've done it before. However, I'm in this place right now where I've let one standard slip slightly into the other. Now, here's the beauty of this. No human is perfect. I'm here holding my hands up now going, I've recognized this. More power to the man that actually recognizes that he is letting his standards slip. What are you going to do? You're faced with the option. Are we going to continue living the life that is essentially not serving you? If you're starting to see things go backwards, where are they going to be in 5 years if you keep implementing these habits that aren't serving you? Where are you actually going to find yourself? Are you going to be pulling up excuses of, you know what, like, I've just focused on fatherhood and work's just been absolutely hectic? Or are you going to be that guy that went, I've noticed my standards have slipped a little bit. I know that I need to do X, Y, and Z to get back to where I want to be, and I want to be the dad that flourishes in business, that flourishes with his family life, that has great relationships, and that is also really, really jacked as well, that is in great shape physically, mentally, emotionally, not just on the outside but on the inside, healthy, looking after his arthritis. To the average eye, again, am I in pretty good shape? Absolutely. So it's easy to be like, do you know what, Joe, don't give yourself as much of a hard time. I know that I could be doing better. So ask yourself this: if you're in this position where you know that you could be doing better, where do you need to do better? Why do you need to do better? And most importantly, what are you actually going to do about it? Now, here's the thing. I'm on this mission right now to drop 6 kilograms of body fat in 6 weeks. I've been training for 15 years pretty consistently. Even at this period of time of my life where I know my standards have slipped a little bit, I've still been training 3 days a week. I've still been showing up to the gym, but I haven't been showing up in the way that I know that I can show up. And this is what I'm wanting to do. I want to document it for you guys, because I want you guys to see out there that this shit is actually really, really easy, whilst juggling being a present dad, whilst juggling family life and trying to prioritize your health. So I hope that I've been able to show you my story, the obstacles that I've faced. And listen, there's always someone that's had it harder and done it better. But my pure passion here is to help men get to that place where they are happy in their body, their business is flourishing, and the family life couldn't be any better. That is my absolute goal. So here's what I want to do. The next videos that I'm going to be doing is going to be giving you a glimpse at my training, at my nutrition, how my progress is going in this 6-week fat loss phase, because I can guarantee you life's not perfect. So I'll be giving you updates of what obstacles that I've faced and how I've managed to navigate them. I want these videos that I'm doing right now on this YouTube channel to give you guys a fucking glimpse of hope. If you tell yourself that you are the man that can't get in good shape, that you are the man that is too busy at work, that you are the man that has a business to run and this is why you've put yourself on a back burner because you prioritize everyone else but yourself, my friend, you are heading in the direction that I could have headed in. If I told myself that I have arthritis, if I told myself that this is the card that I've been dealt, if I told that, yeah, this medication, it just makes me gain weight, who do you think I would have become if I'd have consistently told myself that? Because I have consistently told myself that I am better than just you've got arthritis, that this medication actually, it won't make me gain weight. I can be physically strong, that I can be mentally strong, that I can be a present dad, that I can juggle having a business, and that I can be absolutely jacked as well. So I'm going to round this video off here. But hear me out. If you liked it, let me know that you've liked it. It means that I'm helping someone. And if I feel as though I'm not helping someone, I go, well, do you know what? Is there any point of me doing these videos? I'll just do this by myself and not have to document it. So guys, if you liked it, please let me hear your insight. Drop a comment on the video, drop a thumbs up, drop a thumbs down if you didn't like it. All of your feedback, it helps me out. It's information, and information's what I need to provide you guys with the things that you want to be provided with. Men, thanks for being here. On to the next one.